The Sorta Sports Podcast presents The Big Salad.
If it was a regular salad, I wouldn't have said anything. But you had to have that big salad!
Hosted by the one and only Quinn Maseko.
Well, thank you, Ryan. We're down to 2 shows, and as I like to say, this last month we're running out of show because we only got 2 more shows to go.
It's wild.
And, it's just been a great second season. Maybe next week we'll have some highlights from this year, but I don't know if I can listen to all that tape in a week.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of hours.
It's probably about 2 full days of tape I'd have to listen to.
Yeah, I bet if you added it up, it was probably about 48 hours.
Yeah, that's a lot. But anyway, in today's episode, Ryan and I present our mock drafts for the top 11 and my Steelers. The New York Mets are off to a hot start, and the MLB introduces a pitch clock in a minor league game. But we begin today with the bigger baseball headline this weekend. The longtime Detroit Tiger, Miguel Cabrera, had his 3,000th career hit, and after that, later that day, the Yankees and Guardians were playing each other, and there were some trash talking going on between Oscar Mercado and some of the Yankee fans out in left field, I believe. And in the end, when the Yankees walked it off, they started throwing trash at the Guardians players on the field. So, Ryan, which was the bigger headline? Miguel Cabrera's 3,000th career hit, or the Yankee fans throwing trash?
I think the 3,000th hit is the bigger headline. It seemed to be overall online, and I think it's a good thing. It's the much more positive story, and I think the more important story. It's always a shame when something like that goes on, but, it's a flash in the pan in a bigger picture, which is Miguel Cabrera's great career, and I think you can't let some fans in New York, especially the Yankees fans, overshadow this huge milestone of Miguel Cabrera.
I think that I'm going to choose the latter is actually the bigger headline this week with trash being thrown, because it seems like that brewing fight I guess I saw more of that than Miguel Cabrera's 3,000th career hit, because we knew it was coming. He only got the 2 hits the one night, and he had 2,999, and it went on into that Saturday, the weekend afternoon game, and I just couldn't believe that was happening. I mean, I knew New York Yankee fans are, they're brutal, because that's just how New Yorkers are, and East Coast that's a stereotypical East Coaster. But anyway, I mean, it was just unbelievable. It was just trash getting thrown all over the place. Many of the players on the Guardians team said that they should be able to go back and look at those and ban all those fans, and I don't see why not. They shouldn't, because that is just unsportsmanlike behavior, and you should have. There's an etiquette when you go to. I
mean, it's like you can boo and hiss all you want, but now they're throwing tomatoes, so it's a bit much.
Literally, I mean, that's just ridiculous, and I can't believe that Oscar Mercado almost went up there and punched somebody out when he was climbing the fence, but they saved him, and they kept it.
That'd have been real bad.
Yep.
That'd have been bad.
That'd have been bad. Bad for baseball.
Mouse
right
at the Palace? No, it's the brawl in the Bronx.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Look at that.
I just thought of that.
You got a little alliteration there.
Off the dome.
Well, speaking of the Bronx, we'll go to a different suburb here in New York as we move on to the NBA. And with the Boston Celtics now 3-0 after Saturday's win, will they sweep the Brooklyn Nets in tonight's Game 4?
I think so. The Nets have been playing really badly.
I mean,
and the Celtics have been playing really well, so I mean, it's pretty simple.
Kevin Durant at Game 2 was 4 of 17.
Yeah,
26 points. He got 26 points because thanks to the free throw line. But
I know, it was after the first game, we're like, oh, this is going to be a great series. And then Jason Tatum was just like, no.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been playing really well. Obviously, Defensive Player of the Year, Marcus Smart for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Jaylen Brown's always a stud, underratedly good for them. I mean, that whole team has been just stud lately.
Mm-hmm. And Robert Williams came back, eased him in a little bit.
Yeah,
in
he's
game
a heck of a good
3,
player,
so
too.
we'll see how much he plays here in Game 4 this evening. Now, the rumors on the street were that Ben Simmons would join the team back in Game 3, but it didn't happen. So does it make sense for Steve Nash to play Ben Simmons tonight in Game 4?
Well, I just saw that he is actually right now streaming live on Twitch, so he is not going to be playing.
Oh, that means, because the game started at 7, I believe, so that's probably why.
So, instead of watching his team, he's playing Call of Duty. So that
Yeah.
puts you in perspective with the mind of Ben Simmons.
When you get paid millions of dollars, I guess that's how it works.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, maybe there's a reason he almost flunked out of LSU.
I didn't know
Oh,
that.
but yeah, he almost.
I thought he was only there for a year.
Yeah, he was, but I'm saying the problem was they had is that he didn't go to any of his classes. He almost got kicked out of the university.
Academic probation.
Yep.
That's what you have to be. Well, besides the NBA, let's move over and meet the Mets, because the New York Mets have begun their season with a 12-5 record. Are they the top team to beat in the young MLB season right now, Ryan?
I really don't think so. I think they've started really hot, but to me, the team to beat what? Oh, you showed me the score of the Celtics game at the halftime. Yeah. The team to beat for me, I don't think it's the Mets, just because the Mets aren't really at their full health. Like, this isn't even the full Mets experience yet. So I think that's really important to say how well they're doing right now, even without Jacob deGrom. And I think that's, that can't be overstated enough, is that the best player on this team isn't even playing right now. Now, granted, it's a pitcher, so it's not like you're playing him every day. But, best player on the team.
5 days.
What?
You're playing him every 5 days.
Yeah, and I'm saying, like, it's still, I don't think they're the team to beat. To me, I would say it's still, like, the Dodgers, but.
Well, let's look at the standings right now. I know records aren't everything, but the Dodgers are 11-4. They have a higher winning percentage, but it's essentially the same almost. So I'm going to say that I don't know if you can be, because they're, like you stated, they're not at full strength, because until they get DeGrom back, that's the biggest piece
exactly.
right there. They have to bring that there. I'm not saying the Dodgers are a top either. They've had their struggles as well. I really think it's right now everybody's trying to figure out what they are, and it's
a young season.
It is a young season right now. I mean, I would say definitely that the AL West is very competitive right now, and that's a division to watch. And
the NL West is the real division. I mean,
the NL
the
West.
Rockies.
That's what I meant, excuse me.
The
NL
Rockies
West.
coming out of the woodwork
West.
to be studs.
Yeah, the NL West is what I meant.
Everyone in that division's playing great baseball except the Diamondbacks.
Yep, that's exactly right. Those Centrals are awful. And
We figured that.
Yes, we did. But besides,
Hey, Seiya Suzuki's been great though.
Back to the Mets. The Mets, I really think they should be the better New York team this year. Steve Cohen has invested a lot of money, and hopefully Francisco Lindor is healthy. And what else could go wrong?
I mean, there's a reason I had them in the Super Bowl. Not Super Bowl, in the World Series. I don't know why it gets cut out for a moment.
Well, sometimes you like to go to the Super Bowl instead.
Oh, yeah, it'd be really impressive if they went to the Super Bowl and the World Series.
Don't forget they got Buck Showalter at the helm, too.
Yeah, and I think I picked him to be NL Manager of the Year.
Ooh.
Which should have cashed in that check. I mean, I should have.
Well, he's never coached. I know he has coached in the.
Let me check. He's
coached in the NL for 3. He coached in the NL for 3 seasons.
I think I did
he
that.
He did not win Manager of the Year.
I think I said Manager of the Year. I picked him.
Listen to what's interesting here. So for when Buck Showalter won Manager of the Year in the AL, he won them all 10 years apart. 94, 2004, 14. Isn't that interesting? Must have been every 10 years they knew it was going to Buck.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to be. All right, another headline about baseball before we get to mock draft time, and that is in the minor leagues last week. They have been using a pitch clock, and for one game, or about the average, it has shaved off 20 minutes from an average minor league game. So, Ryan, does it excite you that a pitch clock did that? And why, if it doesn't or doesn't?
I actually think it is. I think it's a good thing to implement. I really don't think it's that jarring. You've probably been to a pitch clock game and not even realized it. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, it's whenever you're talking about, it was with runners not on base, correct?
Well, this is how it works. It is 14 seconds when when the bases are empty. When there's a runner on, you have 18 seconds to make the next pitch.
Okay, what happens if a pickoff? It resets?
It goes back to the 14 then. So if you have one runner on base,
you can pick them off. 14.
And guess what? I'm sorry. And they also limit the pickoffs to only 2 per batter.
See, I don't like the pickoff limit. I don't either.
I disagree
that's my one thing. I would take that off, But I think the pitch clock, I think it should be implemented at the major league level with no runners on base. There's no reason really not to, just to speed up the games. And then, honestly, I think one thing they should look at more than just the pitchers is the hitters. You need to limit how much they can step outside the box. Grab their junk, play with their jersey. That's what they do. I mean, like...
Junk and jersey.
Junk and jersey. And so... and if you're playing for the Mets, you're doing the junk in jersey. I mean, then there's that. So... You like that one?
Yeah. Yes.
So, I'm saying I think that's, instead of take out the pickoff rule and make it more strict for batters and pitchers. Make it even so the pitchers don't feel like they're getting the sham.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. And, the pitchers, this is how it works. If you do not pitch in the allotted time, your next pitch, then it is a ball. Umpire will stop and it's a ball. So I think it should be the same thing with a hitter. If the hitter keeps fooling around out there and it's not in the box,
junk and jersey, get him out.
Should be a strike.
Double J's, you're out.
Strike. It's a strike. Ball. Strike. Ball. Strike. Ball. Strike. Strike. That's how it should be.
Eventually you're gonna have some at bat where it goes full count off these two doofuses not doing what they're supposed to.
Yep.
Then he gets struck out playing with his jersey. It'll happen. It'll happen. It'll be on YouTube. John Boy Media will break it down. I'm going to laugh at it. It'll blow up on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. See, this is what we're looking forward to next year, is the banning of the shift and that.
I don't want the shift ban.
I would like the shift
I have no stance on the shift ban.
The shift should be limited.
If the defense...
Let's put it on the cards right here. This is my rule proposal. My rule proposal is that the shift, if you're an infielder, you cannot be in the grass that is behind the infield. You must be in the dirt. Number 2, if you are middle infield, you cannot cross over second base to start off a play. That's the imaginary line.
I don't know. I got to think on it. I got to think on it. Because I do believe we need more balls in play.
I do.
And that's the key to baseball. Because
you
don't want to have 3 true outcome baseball where it's strikeout, walk, homer. You want to have a lot more doubles, triples, singles, fielder's choices, double plays. You want to have a lot more than just pop-outs and homers.
Which it's a double-edged sword because really, also hitters have to get better at hitting opposite field too.
And hitters need to become more. They're teaching a lot of guys to not hit for contact and hit for power. So you got to have more.
When certain players should not be hitting for power, they should be hitting for contact.
Yeah, exactly.
They're built for that. So, yeah. How it is. Also, just want to say that our tonight's movie, since we've actually turned the TV back on to watch something, it's back to the usual comfort movie of Grease. So
I didn't think you wanted Shawshank Redemption. You've never seen it, so.
Well, I'd rather have to sit down and actually watch that one because I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, we can just put Grease on the background, look up, and know exactly what they're saying, even though we don't even have the volume.
That's right. It's about time for Summer Nights.
Yep.
Summer 11.
Summer 11.
So
had him a blast.
Happened so fast. So anyway. Speaking of things happening fast, we're into the mock draft already. I mean, it's...
Well, we were raring to go.
Raring to go. Well, we have our predictions for the top 11 picks and my Steelers as well. And Ryan somehow has his list somewhere. I don't know. Where's your list?
I didn't write it down. I put it on my phone.
Okay, well,
can we get a fancy little...
Ooh, look at you go.
We're going to get a fancy little mock draft maker just for you and I for kicks. You ready? Let's see if I can get this to work. You talk a little bit and give a little intro.
This is how we're going to do it. We're going to
set me up like we're on 60 Minutes.
I'm going to be... I'm Quinn Maseko. I'm Ryan Klinger. And I'm Quinn Maseko. Those stories in Andy Rooney tonight on 60 Minutes. Anyway, this is how it's going to go. It's going to be like I'm Roger Goodell. I will announce the pick. Ryan will announce his first, and I will announce mine second, and we will alternate that order until we are finished.
All right, let's see if I can get this to work.
So Ryan is getting the simulator up, and once it's done, we'll be able to start, I believe.
Okay, should I open... Did you like the other one better, or you like this one better, out of the two I opened?
I didn't even see the second one, so that's how it's going to be.
Okay, well, I guess
we'll just run this one. Now, how are you going to be able to do that? Can you do two different sets on that screen?
I should be able to do two.
Okay.
I don't think I can do two on one screen. We'll just have to flip.
Yeah, we'll flip back and forth. That's fine.
Now, I don't think I can save this, though, just for kicks and giggles for you and I. But it does have team needs and all that, so that's kind of cute.
And here we are. We're ready to start our draft. And again, I'm going to go over, just to repeat what I said after Ryan was getting some technical things ready. And I had to research a pronunciation of a name. That I will go ahead and read like I am Roger Goodell for the first round, and then Ryan will go with his pick. I will go with mine. We will alternate back and forth.
Okay.
He will start off on the odds. I will start off on the evens, and then we'll go on from there.
So I have the first pick.
And hold on.
Okay.
With the first pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select
Evan Neal from Alabama University. Roll Tide. That is my first pick. So Evan, wait. Oh, you want your turn?
No, I thought you were going to talk about your pick. That's awesome.
Oh, I am. I thought you were going to react. I was like, just quick.
Oh, I'm reacting.
There it is. Now they cut to his family, and they're all like, "Oh, this is actually legitimately surprising because this draft isn't like super set in stone as number one, Joe Burrow." Like, this is like, I'm really excited for this draft because it's gonna be a wild one. Like, you could have a guy go number one, you could go 10. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I think I know who you're taking number one. We'll talk about it more when you talk about it. But I'm saying, like, this draft's going to be really cool, and it's probably going to watch because it's a draft that's very defensive-based and utility players. It'll end up being, like, one of the greatest ever, and they're going to talk about it for years, be like, the 2022 draft is one of the best ever because it had everything but quarterbacks, Everything you need except quarterbacks. I mean, we're not going to talk about Kenneth Walker III. He's not in my top 11, but I think he's going to go to the Cardinals and tear it up.
Well, good. Well, good for
I'm
you.
just tossing that out there. So back to my first pick, Evan Neal. He looked awesome in the national championship. The Jaguars just want to go best player available. So it's really whoever they believe. Whether they think that's Kyle Hamilton, they think that's Thibodeau, which I don't think they do. If they think it's Icky, they think it's Derek Stingley, Jamison Williams, anybody? I don't think so. Trayvon Walker's been talked about. But overall, I think Evan Neal is the one that really stood out. He's either going to go to them or the Texans because I feel like the Hutchinson to Lions thing is like too perfect to not happen. So I think I'm leading you on to my second pick is. But my first pick's Evan Neal. I think he's a very safe bet too. He's a really good offensive tackle, and I think the Jaguars will be happy to have him because they really just can go best player available. They got Trevor Lawrence. They're just trying to get good stuff around him.
Well, my selection for the Jaguars is Trayvon Walker of Georgia.
Okay.
And he's a 3-down linebacker, has great speed, able to tackle, and surely wraps up. And that is one of the needed positions of the Jacksonville Jaguars after letting Myles Jack go and now sign with my Pittsburgh Steelers. So they're going to have to fill somebody there in the middle of that defense. Young body. I think Trayvon Walker definitely fits that.
There's a lot of really good, defensive and offensive line guys here.
Yes, a lot of, as we talked earlier, gadget guys is what I call it. Because they're basically your every down players, but they're not the stars of the team, and they're going to be able to get that done. So I think this is something that Jacksonville can build off of with their defense because it needs to really reset there. And they already have Josh Allen there at the defensive end. So it wouldn't make sense for them to pick Aiden Hutchinson anyway.
Yeah.
So, all right. With the second pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Aiden Hutchinson of Michigan. And that's for both of us. I guess I can speak for both of us.
Yeah, I think he's going to say University of Michigan, I bet as well.
Yes, I bet they will too. And Aiden Hutchinson, I mean, as Ryan alluded to, yes, it's definitely a hometown coming because he'll stay in the state of Michigan.
It's the Burrow to the Bengals type thing.
It is. So,
the savior of the city.
Yep.
He's going to be a stud for them. He'll probably be Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Maybe.
I mean, it's a really good draft, so I don't know. But I'm saying he's going to be a stud for them, and then next year when they get C.J. Stroud, and get their quarterback, it's going to be a nice setup for them. I don't think they're taking a quarterback this year. I don't think the Lions are going to take Matt Corral, or they're going to do, I've heard some chatter about them getting Ritter. I've also heard them about getting Howell. I don't think they're doing any of that. I think they're just going to run another year of Goff. They do well, great. They don't, cool. We're taking C.J. Stroud. So.
Well, Aiden Hutchinson is from Plymouth, Michigan, his hometown. So he's Michigan boy through and through, just like Joe Burrow, as Ryan said. It's got to be perfect in heaven, and I think it definitely fits in with Dan Campbell's energy. I can see Hutchinson.
Oh, he's definitely a knee biter. Bite the opponent's kneecaps off. Aiden Hutchinson's ready to do it.
So, yep, we couldn't do it against Michigan State. So that's all I'm going to say there.
All right.
And now with the third pick
I'm interested to see
of
what
the
you had.
2022 NFL Draft. The Houston Texans select
Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame University. Really good safety here. Some people think he could be the number one pick. I just don't think the Jaguars are going to go safety. I think they'd rather go offensive line or pass rush, like you've had them taking. So I think they're going to go one of those. The Texans, to me, just take whatever they want, and I believe that they're not interested in quarterback yet. I think they're kind of still waiting to see what comes on the Davis Mills experience, and maybe next year they get Bryce Young or something like that. I think they're going to wait, and I don't think they're desperate for a quarterback like the Panthers are. The Panthers are kind of desperate because they're set up with everything really but quarterback. The Texans are nowhere near that. They're just building, so you might as well take Kyle Hamilton, and he could be a stud for you.
my selection is Sauce Gardner.
Oh, the Cincinnati guy!
University of
Yeah,
Cincinnati.
he's good. I love him.
And the reason I selected him is because the Texans are definitely in need of some help on the outside on their defense. Sauce is 6'2", one of the taller cornerbacks, would be in the league already. Once he is drafted, has great speed, never gave up a touchdown in his collegiate career, which hopefully that alludes to something good in the professional. I mean, this would be somebody I'd like to draft for my own team, but you can't do that because he's so highly rated that he has to go in the top 3.
Best player at Cincinnati last year.
I think he
was good.
Him, I think that defensive secondary was great between him and
Yep.
Kobe Bryant. So
I think it's really interesting how even though we had different picks, we both picked safeties for them.
Well, I picked cornerback.
Well, yes, sorry.
Somebody in the secondary.
Yeah, we both picked secondary. I think that's definitely what they're
Yes.
going to go.
Yes.
I just think Kyle Hamilton's the higher rated prospect, so it'd be a bit of a surprise if they took Sauce that high. And that'd be a big deal for Cincinnati. I'd love to see it. Mm-hmm. All right.
With the 4th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Kayvon Thibodeau of Oregon. And I think this will be a good fit for the Jets. They need help all over the place too. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
they need to get better on defense, more pressure on the quarterback. I think this definitely helps them out and get some attention to somebody else and allows that defense to actually get to work and try to work in tandem, which is something that Robert Saleh has been trying to do for a while.
I agree. That's why I also have Thibodeau going to Oregon. Thibodeau going to the Jets.
Well, he went to Oregon already.
You did go to Oregon.
You
Good,
didn't go to
congrats.
Oregon?
There was a time that beginning of the year it was talked about him being number 1 pick to the Jaguars. It felt like he'd be 1 and then Hutchinson 2. Now you're starting to see chatter. No one really knows what number 1 is. Sometimes you hear Hutchinson. Sometimes you hear Neal, Hamilton. You hear, I've heard Stingley. Like there's been a lot of different stuff. And so honestly though, I believe that Thibodeau is going to go to the Jets. You hear a lot of good chatter out of the New York Jets organization about him, and unless it's a dirty trick and they're trying to trick everybody away and they're going to take Matt Corral or something crazy, I think the Jets are going to go with Thibodeau, and I think he's probably the highest upside out of the first couple guys we talked about. I mean, he seems to be the total package. It's just if you can take advantage of it.
Yep. I would agree. Now, I'm actually looking this up right here, and Sauce Gardner, his nickname was given to him when he was 6 because of his affinity for dipping sauces. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that's not
must
what I
have an
expected.
assortment of dipping sauces,
Man's like, I got ranch, he's got honey mustard,
Right,
he's
it's
got
whatever.
Arby's sauce, he's got horsey sauce.
Yep, French fries, chicken fingers, anything you dip it in.
He had the
Cheese
Canes,
sticks,
he had
whatever.
the KFC,
Yeah.
he had the one from Bibi Bop, the Yum Yum sauce. He just had it all covered.
Soy sauce. Yeah, any kind of sauce.
What's the one
What
that you
about
get?
horseradish?
Yeah, you got horseradish. What's the one that you get from
Stadium mustard.
what do you like Red Lobster and fish places? What does they have?
I don't know. I don't eat seafood.
There's a
so I
certain
can't answer
sauce that they give you.
I don't know. But any kind of sauce.
Yeah.
Cranberry sauce.
Would just be glad he had an assortment, or else his nickname would be like his nickname is just Cane Sauce. Cane Sauce Gardner. Cane's Gardner.
Cane's
Barbecue Gardner.
Barbecue Gardner. I don't think that's happening. Who wants to be nicknamed Barbecue?
Apparently Sauce. I don't know.
I don't know. But
That's
anyway.
funny.
Ahmad is actually his real first name, besides Sauce. So, anyway, enough fun fact there.
Ranch Gardner with the play. Big catch from Ranch.
All right. With the 5th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select
Icky Ekwonu. Had to make sure I pronounced it right.
Yes, and that is right.
All right, so Icky here, we all know, like, he's a stud from NC State University, North Carolina State. He's a big stud, offensive tackle. The Giants have the 5th and 7th pick, making out like bandits, the 2 New York teams, because the Jets have the 4th and 10th pick. Yep. So a lot of teams that have a lot, like, of double picks, because the Texans have 3 and 13. So you could see some trades from there, but, maybe they'll stick with it. Giants are really happy because I'm assuming this is probably the last year of the Danny Dimes experience, unless it really goes well. And so I think Equinu is the best guy available right here. It's be like him or Stingley would be like the 2 top for me right here. And yeah, I think he'd be a good fit there. He's an offensive tackle, and tackles are pretty solid picks. They rarely disappoint. So unless they get a major injury, they're going to probably be about as good or not better than they were in college. So I think it'll be a great pick here from them, and he's a good player.
And I picked Icky as well, so...
Hey, there we go.
The New York Giants definitely need O-line help, and that is on the outside and the inside. So if you can see, I'm alluding to this, what they pick in 2 selections of what else they're going to go with in order to, because Icky actually he's played a lot of inside as well as outside. So so I thought he was more of a guard than a tackle, but even though they have his down as a tackle right there. So that's me. He won the run blocking trophy last season in NCAA. So that's how it is. And now with the 6th pick.
Oh boy.
Of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Kenny Pickett of Pittsburgh. And the reason I'm taking Kenny Pickett here for the Panthers is because they've already had a Malik Willis type player in Cam Newton. So I would argue that they are looking for more of a pocket passer with Kenny Pickett. So I'm going to go with that. It's not going to be the true love story of being drafted by Pittsburgh and playing the same stadium he did collegiately. So that's my reasoning there. Ryan, I know you're taking Malik Willis, and you can tell us why.
Well, I will embrace whoever the Panthers take.
Oh, good.
I'm saying if they take Pickett, he was the one I was originally in love with. And then I kind of came on the Malik Willis train. I mean, if they go crazy and take Desmond Ridder, I'll somehow work up some belief. Coral, I'll work up some belief. Howell, I might scream and throw a fit. Sam Howell with a 6th pick. Goodness.
He's their homeboy.
Yeah, I don't want him.
Because he went to North Carolina.
Yeah, no. So please no. Please not him. But I think the Panthers are at a real crossroads here. This is a really important draft for them, and it sucks that it came in a draft that a lot of people do not like the QBs in. And because they're kind of set really everywhere but O-line and quarterback. Those are really, if they could get those 2 positions up, I think they could really compete. And I think the pick of J.C. Horn last year was really important because, one, it really fit this really nice, really good defense they've built. But the other thing is they kind of blew their shot at getting Justin Fields or maybe Mac Jones or one of those quarterbacks people talked about last year. I think Fields would have been the pick. And I think it's just a little concerning. So I think they know that they need to really get a quarterback now while they can. And if they don't, it's going to hurt in the long run. I think they're thinking like the Cincinnati Bengals, where they had a bad O-line, made it to the Super Bowl. So I think the Panthers are going, if we can get Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett to be a stud, we can work the O-line out long term. Right. Then as long as we have our quarterback. Yep. So, and
this might be the end of the Matt Rule experiment too, if he doesn't get his act.
Yeah, and hopefully this is my dream scenario is that Malik. Yes, I'm taking Malik Willis. Malik blows everybody away, and then they're like, but Matt Rule wasn't the right fit. They didn't perform as well. And then Brian Flores gets hired from his position at Steel City and comes right over to Carolina.
Wrong. You're so wrong. Gonna stay in Pittsburgh, hopefully.
He's too good.
I know he is, but
I love him.
I'd like him.
I want him.
I think
I want him for myself.
Tomlin will be great.
I would be so happy. It's the dream Panthers scenario. It's like if I could build my own Panthers team, like I would want him as the coach. Okay, take it back. I would want Shanahan, or him. Those would be my 2 picks. Shanahan's a genius.
Yeah, I hear you.
But Malik Willis here, I think he has the highest upside out of all the main quarterbacks in draft.
He has the highest ceiling, definitely.
Yeah, and Pickett is the safest pick, right? Pickett, at worst, will be a solid backup. but I don't think Pickett's highest is going to be an incredible, MVP level quarterback. I think he'll be good.
Not everybody is.
I think he'll be a poor man's Matt Ryan. I think he'll maybe be like a Kirk Cousins level guy, at best.
Right.
And that's fine. But I think Malik Willis has the chance to be an absolute stud, so you might as well take the big swing. But the only problem is you might end up with a big miss, so we'll see.
Yes, this is true.
All right, so 7th pick.
All right. The Chicago Bears have traded their first-round pick to the New York Giants. With the 7th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select
Derek Stingley Jr., the cornerback out of Louisiana State University. There's a lot of big fans of this guy. He rose a lot during the draft workouts. He was projected to be like a post number 10 pick, and then now he's projected to be top 10, maybe even top 5 sometimes. I think he's an absolute stud. I think he's the first corner I have off the board. And, what more can you say? He's athletic. He's got good size. He's quick. He's fast. He's got good hands. It's all the basic stuff you're going to talk about with the good cornerback. Then the Giants would have an offensive pick with the O-line and then a secondary pick with the corners. They definitely need to get some secondary. That's what they could really use anything. So that's what I'm going to go with.
Well, I have selected Evan Neal of Alabama here because
my number one pick.
Knowing that
So 2 offensive tackles for them.
Well, because Equinu, as what I researched, was actually swinging from guard to tackle, so I figured he could play inside while Neal could play outside, but that line needs reworked because Danny Dimes is always getting strip sacked in the backfield. So
that's true.
Part of it's his fault, but other part is that the line is not very good in protecting him. So I figured with having 2 big bodies up there on that line, they'll be able to give protection to Danny Dimes, and maybe he will be able to be successful this season offensively. Maybe.
I forgot this song existed in this movie.
Well, it does.
What is that one?
I don't know it.
You don't know it either?
No.
The one where Sandy's singing while playing in a baby pool?
No.
That's weird.
I don't know it. Now there's some necking going on in the
Yeah,
car.
now they're all driving, making out.
Anyway.
Getting wild. Getting wild during the NFL draft.
Right. With the 8th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Malik Willis of Liberty. And
what?
Ryan can't believe it.
I'm shocked. Roger, stop the presses.
But they're going to stop. They're going to go away from the Matty Ice years of being stuck in the pocket passer. That's why I didn't select Kenny Pickett here. And they're going back to the Michael Vick days of being able to do the run pass option and have the scramble around the backfield.
You don't want Marcus Mariota all season?
No.
Boo, Marcus.
No.
Go to Marcus. Go Marcus.
So I think Malik Willis is very impressive, as we talked about before. His ceiling is definitely the highest of any of these quarterbacks, and I'm looking forward to seeing him play in a Falcons jersey this season.
I'm not. I wanted to beat him up as a Panther. So the Falcons are always about weapons, right? The Falcons always have some big, sexy weapon. They do.
They don't right now because it's suspended.
Yes, they do.
Who?
Yes, they do.
Who?
Frickin' the tight end.
Oh, Kyle Pitts.
Thank you. They got Pitts.
They don't have Ridley.
Yes, they're missing one of their sexy beasts. Their next sexy beast, to me, they're taking Sauce Gardner.
Oh!
They're the swag team. They always got some really cool players. They had Michael Vick, who was incredible, unlike any quarterback at the time. Then they had Julio Jones, who was just far and away the best receiver for a period there. Then they had Calvin Ridley, who was just, popping off and was crazy fast for them.
He's still on the team.
Now they got Pitts, freaking nature. So they're going to add to that team of weapons and get Ahmad Gardner. Whenever they find a really good quarterback, they're going to have it worked out. They're just building a bunch of weapons. They have an arsenal. They're like this. They're like a country gearing up for war. They're just Winston Churchill would be proud. They're gearing up. Churchill had a quote that was something along the lines of, you got to always be ready for war. And so that's why you always boost your military. Something like that. I'm very harshly paraphrasing.
I think you are, because
point is they're building their war chest. They're building their war chest, and then they're gonna have a quarterback and pop off. Hopefully it takes a while, because as a Panthers fan, I need them to be bad. But they're just picking up weapons. Marcus Mariota's just going to sit there and lose some games. They're just picking up weapons. It's Grease Lightning time.
Uh-oh. Grease Lightning. Go, Grease Lightning.
Go, Grease Lightning.
And if, anyway, because you're evoking World War II in my life, that Winston Churchill, okay?
Are you trying to find the right quote?
If you just give me a second here.
Grease Lightning. Go, Grease Lightning. You're burning. I want to wear out this tape because of all these episodes.
Well,
I need to go to Goodwill and just go to their video.
what happened
VHS
to you? I
section.
thought you were going to be doing that. What happened?
Yeah, I just never got around to it. I'll do it eventually. It's not like the Goodwills
All right.
are going anywhere.
Here it is. Ready?
Yeah.
We shall go on to the end. We shall fight in France. We shall fight on the seas and oceans. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender.
This is what all the Jaguars players say before they go on their London game. We're fighting wherever.
They say this: you cannot reason with a tiger when when your head is in its mouth.
Yeah, I like
That's
that one.
another Churchill one. So
You couldn't find the quote I was
your head's
talking
in a
about.
Jaguar. And not in tiger because it's Jacksonville. What was the quote again?
It was something along the lines of, you always have to prepare your military for war. Or something like that. See if I was right.
And by the way, have you ever seen The Darkest Hour?
No, I need to
You
get
need
around
to watch
to
it. It's on Netflix. Good one. Nope.
I know, it's Gary Oldman, right?
Yes, it is. Very good.
I don't know if it's really a famous quote. I just know he said something along the lines of it.
Yep, I don't see it here. So,
Hopefully I don't get sued for Winston Churchill misrepresentation.
well, hopefully not.
That'd be bad. Alright, so the number one Winston Churchill fan, my mother just called in and explained the quote. So here we go. She couldn't take me misquoting him. So, it was right before Winston Churchill became Prime Minister, he said something, and I'm going to paraphrase here, I don't have the direct quote, which was to the effect of, people were on him and saying, why do you always want to be, you're just a big war, you just love war, and you always want to be in war. And he says, no, it's just stupid to not be prepared for war, and it's stupid to believe that people will not try to attack you, so you must always be prepared to go into war. So, and he was basically referring to, obviously, pre-World War II Germany, and he saw what was going over there, and he's like, this is going to lead to a big conflict, we need to be prepared. And so that is what I'm saying the Falcons are like. They know that, they got to have their weapons ready because war is coming. So.
War, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Huh!
Now that is not a Churchill quote.
No, it's not.
He enjoyed his good old-fashioned wars.
So, anyway.
Yeah, but a thank you to my mother for calling in and making sure I didn't misquote. I'm not going to get sued for misrepresentation. So that's always good.
Yes. All right. So, we are now on to the Seattle Seahawks. And first of all,
what's up?
Excuse me.
What are you doing? You have to think about something?
Nope, not thinking. The Denver Broncos have traded
Oh, you're figuring out who gave him this pick?
the 9th pick to the Seattle Seahawks. With the 9th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select
Trayvon Walker from Georgia University, the University of Georgia. Star edge rush here. Pass rusher, stud. Some people talked about him going number 1. I mean, he's heck of a player and a real steal for them. They just lost, obviously, Bobby Wagner, so they got to get that pass rush back up to snuff. So, well, he obviously wasn't a pass rush, you know what I mean? He was playing middle linebacker. But I'm saying they got to boost their defense, so that's what they're going to do here. They're really just going to take best player available. Seahawks are kind of just rebuilding out there in a crazy good division. So, Quinn?
I have the Seahawks selecting as they're in need of a cornerback, Derek Stingley of LSU.
Okay.
He'll be able to cover for them. They need help in their defensive secondary to be able to cover in down the field. So ever since the Legion of Boom has been gone, they have not been able to do that very well, and they gave up a lot of yards last year. So I figured this would be a perfect fit for him to be there.
Yeah.
And now,
You trying to figure out who traded it to the Jets?
yes, I
Uh,
believe it could have been Chicago Bears. No, it's not. Because they traded to the Giants, the other New York team. All right. The Seattle Seahawks have traded the 10th pick to the New York Jets.
oh, well.
With the 10th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Garrett Wilson of Ohio State University.
Whoa!
And now Wilson will be throwing to Wilson here. They need a star
Oh,
wide receiver
my.
in the New York for the Jets. So we'll see what happens. But I believe this will be the best option for Robert Saleh to get that offense off the ground. They need a number one receiver, and that's what they'll get in Wilson to go with their new number one quarterback.
I don't think Saleh wants to have a sexy pick here. I think he's less interested in big, sexy wide receiver weapons. You know, very Winston Churchill, Atlanta Falcons style, Cincinnati Bengals style, what I'm hoping the Panthers do style, where you say, we'll worry about the offensive line and the things coaches usually care about later. We're going to go sexy and take the big picks. I think he's going to do the opposite. I think he's going to be a standard coach here. I think he's going to take Charles Cross out of Mississippi State. Good offensive tackle. Projected to be in this range anyway. Big dude. Good. I mean, there's not a lot I can really say about offensive tackle. There's not a lot of stuff saying he's good. That's what I know about him, is that he's good. So I don't think they're going to go sexy pick here. But I think it'd be more exciting, your pick, far and away.
Well, I try to make things exciting. All right. With the 11th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Big Salads team of the year
Yeah!
last year. The
Yeah!
Washington Commanders.
They've already pretty much won it for the NFC next year. This is our team.
No, it's not going to be.
Oh, I'm going to push for it.
Wrong. So
Especially
wrong.
after they take the boy out of Ohio State,
I already have a choice ready, so you better get it
Garrett
together.
Wilson.
Ah.
From Ohio State University. I think they want to go with another Ohio State. They had Scary Terry. Now,
Terry.
that's Terry Rozier's nickname, but I'm putting it on
Terry Rozier, I
McLaurin.
thought you were just Terry McLaurin.
I know,
Yeah.
I'm saying, but that was
That's
what they
Terry
called Terry
Rozier's,
Rozier.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think Garrett Wilson would be a great fit there. I don't think they're going to go QB. I think they're going to wait another year to see what they can do. The Commanders love their free agent quarterbacks. That's kind of their classic gig, and until the team is sold, I think they're just going to keep doing that BS. So, but maybe we're going to buy it this offseason. I mean, you don't know how much money Quinn and I make. I don't know how many of you know us personally. So let me ask you, and even if you do know us personally,
only
do you
one-
know how much Quinn and I make combined? You don't, because I don't fill out tax returns.
And I
So,
guarantee that it's-
granted, I don't make a paycheck,
I guarantee
but I also don't fill out tax returns.
97% me.
I am
so,
not committing tax fraud because I'm not getting a paycheck. So, am I making money? You don't know. I might just find dollar bills on the ground. Is that income? See? You don't know. You don't know where my income is. Do I even have income? I don't. But you don't know. I could be lying. Quinn and I could buy the Washington Commanders and rename them back to their former glory of the Washington football team. You don't know. Or you do know us and you're laughing at us, but you still don't know how much money I make because that answer is non-existent. Because I don't make a paycheck.
Are you done rambling on
I'm
about how
non-taxable.
you're a broke high school student like everybody was at one point?
They don't know that. I might be buying the Washington football team.
Well,
Commanders.
yes.
They're going to be the football team after I buy them.
But anyway, I will have the Commanders select Kyle Hamilton of Notre Dame.
There it is.
And I think definitely they're in need of some back
That's a heck of a pick at
and
11.
help. They have a great front seven. They have a not good secondary on the back end. So that's what it's going to be able to help them out. And that should work greatly for the Commanders because he's a very lengthy safety at 6'4". I mean, that's probably the tallest defensive backfield player I've seen in a while. And I think it will definitely benefit their defense. But all right, we're on to my team.
Steelers.
So with the 20th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Devontae Wyatt of Georgia.
Ooh,
and he
I like
will
that one.
definitely benefit the Steelers' aging defensive line. Right now, they have Tyson Alualu, who plays nose tackle, who is going to be 35. Cam Hayward's going to be 33. And Stephon Tuitt will be turning 30 almost. So you have to be able to get somebody that's going to be able to take over the ranks when one of those decides to retire in the next couple of seasons. So that's why I picked Devontae Wyatt. He's faster than people assume. I think he'd be great. He's kind of a younger version of Cam Hayward, or when he was that. So that's why I would say that's probably the best selection here for my team. Ryan?
I think the pick that makes the most sense in my world, where Kenny Pickett hasn't been drafted yet, is to take him. Hometown hero, Pittsburgh
if he's
boy.
drafted, because you already drafted him in this draft, who's your backup?
They'll probably go Desmond Ridder. It's another, they had Miami, Ohio. Now they're going Cincinnati, Ohio. There you go. Boom, bam, bop. They love their Ohio QBs.
Well,
As long as they're not from Ohio State, I mean,
I think they have other pieces to fill before they go find a quarterback, and Trubisky should be able to.
I think Trubisky was an incredibly smart move on their part.
I think
I'm a big supporter of that.
He'll at least
But
be
I
able to
think
steer
if
the
Pickett
field.
is on the board at 20, I think Pickett there seems to be a good amount of chatter around Pickett. I think if he's sitting there, Pickett alone, I don't think if Ritter's sitting there, they'll take him. I think Pickett, if they have the chance on Pickett, I think they're going to take him. And then they can just run Mitch until it's the Garoppolo-Trey Lance theory.
Mm-hmm. And look where they're at now in that theory. Not very good.
No,
we
no.
didn't give a $25 million guaranteed contract to Mitch Trubisky. So, there you go.
But they did give one to Brian Flores, which is smart. It wasn't $25 million.
Not $25 million.
Do you want to run through all our picks then overall?
If you want to do that, I wasn't planning on doing that.
So, in
Go
the
ahead.
Quinn Maseko NFL Draft, we have Trayvon Walker going first, Aiden Hutchins to the Jags, Aiden Hutchinson second to the Lions, Sauce Gardner to the Texans, Thibodeau to the Jets, Icky to the Giants, Pickett to the Panthers, Evan Neal to the Giants, Malik Willis to the Falcons, Derek Stingley Jr. to the Seahawks, Garrett Wilson to the Jets, Kyle Hamilton to the Washington Commanders, and who was again for the Steelers?
Devontae Wyatt.
Sorry, I couldn't write it down, so that's why I couldn't
Yep.
remember. And then in the Ryan Klinger NFL Draft, it was Evan Neal to the Jaguars, Aiden Hutchinson to the Lions, Kyle Hamilton to the Texans, Thibodeau to the Jets, Icky to the Giants, Malik Willis to the Panthers, Derek Stingley Jr. to the Giants, Sauce Gardner to the Falcons, Trayvon Walker to the Seahawks, Charles Cross to the Jets, and Garrett Wilson to the Washington Commanders, with Kenny Pickett becoming a Pittsburgh Steeler. Where did you have Walker? Did you have him 1?
Who?
Trayvon Walker.
Yes.
So then my 9 pick was your 1 pick, and my 1 pick was your 7 pick.
Well,
It's going to be a fun one, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a fun one. I still maintain I could buy the team. You don't know.
Well, it's on to Ryan's special section here after the draft. And Ryan, what do you got for us?
Well, today I'm going to file a tax exemption. So I'm trying to do write-offs on the last 55 items I've purchased.
You don't even know what a write-off is, according to Kramer.
I know what a write-off is.
Nope.
It means like I have to have something for work, so I just write it off and I don't pay taxes on it, correct?
Just write it off.
That's how it works, baby.
Write off your gross income.
Uh-huh. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Quinn Maseko. I thought this would be fun because the NFL
Am I
draft.
allowed to look at this, or am I not allowed to look at this?
Oh, you're allowed to look at this. This isn't
Okay,
a quiz.
good.
This is more of
Not a quiz
Usually, it's like I either do quiz or I do like a poll.
Informative.
I do like 3 different types. There's a quiz for you, an informative to the audience, or a fun for us. Right? Those are kind of my main bases. So let me pull up this statistic I saw. I sent it to a friend of mine like a long while ago. All right, here it is. Somebody posted this in the Carolina Panthers community on Bleacher Report, and I read it. The first round is by far your best chance at getting an NFL star. A lot of people like to refute this because they notice that there are a good amount of NFL stars that were not taken in the first round. This is because there are over 200 non-first round picks every year, and only 32 first-rounders. So, for example, if half of the first-round picks end up being good, that's 16 stars. But if 1/10 of the other rounds end up being stars, that's 18. But you only have a 10% chance of getting a star in rounds 2 through 7 compared to a 50% chance in the first round. Does that make sense? It's the law of averages, right? It's a very basic concept, but people don't really think about it. They just look at the numbers and say, oh, well, you can get stars outside. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying to you is that we're not doing the rounds. We're doing the number 1 picks.
Yep.
So what we're doing here is Quinn Maseko, you are going to go through, and you're going to get a number 1 pick for once every decade, and you get to pick out of those number 1 picks who you'd like.
Oh, I see.
So we're drafting number 1 picks from every decade, and we'll go all the way back to, I mean, what do you want to do? We'll do 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s,
Well, let's do the 50s.
2010.
We gotta do the 50s.
So we're doing 7.
Okay.
7 players. You can't take 2 of the same position either.
Okay.
All right, so be
hard.
planning ahead. We're starting we're going back in time.
I think you should be able. Let's amend the rules. You can have up to at least 3 quarterbacks because quarterbacks are typically selected number 1.
No, 1 quarterback. You get 1 quarterback.
Okay, fine.
That's my
What happens
rule.
when all 10 years are all quarterbacks? That's the problem.
Are you
we
saying that
going-
happens 1 year? Are you saying that happens in a decade?
I'm saying it could.
I'm looking. It doesn't.
Okay,
So we're good.
Keep going. I want you to go all the way up so I can see what happens before 1950s.
There's a lot of
Keep going up.
there's a lot of running backs.
Okay, I'm ready for the 50s. Are you ready?
I know we're starting 2010s. We're going
you're
back.
gonna start that. Okay.
So the
let's-
2010s.
Hold on. Let's start the 2020s. We only got 2 years. I'll take Joe Burrow.
Oh, you're taking your quarterback now.
Oh well, there's only 2 quarterbacks. That's what I'm saying. It's a problem.
Oh, you're right. Okay, let me change this. I might be able to see the list of top 5 NFL draft picks. We might amend this. I might change this special section a little bit. Just make it a little more fun.
I don't like it because I like this.
Well, I have a fun idea. Can I change it? What we're going to do is we're going to go through the last 10 drafts, and you get to pick 1 out of every top 5 picks.
No, I want to do this one. I like this one.
Well, then we're not doing the 2020s. You messed
Okay,
it up.
let's cut out the
We're not doing the
2020s.
2020s because
Cut
that
out the
messes you up.
2020s. All right,
Because I don't
are
want
you
to have to
ready?
take my quarterback out of Burrow and Trevor. I mean,
Okay. Well, you get 2 of them, so that's the thing.
all right, you get 1 quarterback.
You just said I got 2 of any position before.
No, we're doing 1 quarterback.
Okay, you can't do that because there are too many quarterbacks.
We'll
It's
see.
Quarterback bias.
We'll see. Here we go. 2010s, you get the number 1 pick. We can't take the same player.
Okay, I'm taking Eric Fisher.
Really? You're just going to go with that?
Yeah, I am gonna go with Eric Fisher.
All right. Well,
Pro bowler, all-pro tackle.
I'm looking around. I'm trying to figure out what I want. I'm going to go with Myles Garrett. I don't think I'm going to see another defensive player like him later in this draft. So I think I'm getting a good defender, one of the best defenders in the league
I see.
early on. So I think it's a smart pick by me. No one wants Sam Bradford? Come on, Quinn. All right, 2000s.
We're in the 2000s. Well, given that there have been
I get first pick now?
there have been 6 quarterbacks selected, so there you go. Enjoy.
Yeah, so mostly quarterbacks here. Jake Long, anyone? Yeah, so I'm thinking Stafford's an option.
I
Jake
know
Long.
his name.
Jamarcus Russell, I think, might have to be my pick here. I'm really thinking on him. Oh, crap, this is tough. Courtney Brown's not any good.
I told you you're gonna have to do more than 1 quarterback.
We're doing 1 quarterback. I'm sticking to this. I'm going to take Jake Long. He was a 4-time Pro Bowler. And I don't want Eli Manning, Carson Palmer, or Michael Vick. Because I only get a couple years out of Michael Vick, then he's going to prison. So I can't do that.
I guess I'm gonna have to take Mario Williams, who I have no clue who he is, but I guess it's how it's gonna be.
4-time Pro Bowler.
That's how it's gonna be. All right, out to the 90s.
Yep. Oh, there's a good amount of spread here.
Good, we need some spread.
Got some QBs, defensive tackle, running back. You get first pick, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you. I think I'm going to select... I still get to any position that is non-quarterback, correct?
Yep.
That's the rule. I think I'm going to take Orlando Pace.
I wanted him, yep. Out of Ohio State for the Rams. He's a good tackle.
Yep, obviously. He won the Super Bowl. He was a Pro Bowler for 7 straight seasons.
Okay. I'm starting to look back at these drafts. I think this is where I'm going to have to take my quarterback. I think I'm going to go with Peyton Manning. I think it's a good pick.
Taking Peyton Manning.
I think I'm going to go with it. I'm not even a big Peyton Manning backer. I'm just looking back at these other guys. Like, I'm looking at Elway, Troy Aikman, Bradshaw. I know you're gunning for Bradshaw, so I'm not even going to try to get him. So I might go O.J. Simpson because when he's in the league and not out of the league, he won't be in prison. So I'll be fine. So I'm going to go with Peyton Manning. So right now, my team is Peyton Manning, Myles Garrett, Jake Long, and your team is Orlando Pace,
Mario Williams, and Eric Fisher.
Surprised you didn't go Jadeveon Clowney. All right, here we go. 80s. Yes, I luck into Bo Jackson. As if he's for half of his career, he'll be an absolute stud for me. And then he'll get knee problems. Maybe I'll just keep him away from playing in baseball. So then he'll stay healthy.
I see.
Get him some new knee treatment so he can stay healthy for me and just be like the best running back in the league.
Well, you're going to be surprised at this pick, but I'm going to take John Elway.
What?
Because here's the problem when you compare him to Bradshaw. Elway's way better statistically.
He
Bradshaw, at one point in one of the Super Bowl seasons, he threw 25 touchdowns versus 24 interceptions.
Whoa! That's Jameis Winston stats.
Yes, but we also got to remember that in the 70s, that the passing game was not as unregulated as it was today.
Yeah.
So that's how it's going to be. But I will definitely take John Elway, the Hall of Famer.
Going back to the 70s, you have the number.
Yes.
You have the first pick out of these.
I do.
Jim Plunkett.
And I'm looking.
It's nice that they have their accomplishments lined up here because then you can. Earl Campbell's not a bad pick here.
I think I'm going to take Leroy Selman,
Okay.
defensive end from Oklahoma. He played for Tampa Bay. He was a six-time consecutive Pro Bowler. There you go.
I already have Bo Jackson, but I'm going to take Earl Campbell. I'm going to run dual running backs. Earl Campbell was a stud. Texas University guy that went to Houston Oilers. I actually know his name. Pro Football Hall of Famer, MVP in 1979, Rookie of the Year in 1978.
Yep.
He starts hot and he kind of dwindles out over time, but he was a stud, so I'm taking Earl Campbell.
There you go. You going to take OJ this time, though? You can't.
I can't take OJ now.
You're out of OJ.
Ah, crap. I should have planned ahead. I wanted OJ. I was going to keep him away from... Well, no, it doesn't matter. I'm going to get him marriage counseling if he was on my team. There we go. That would be my that would be my trick. All right. Looking at these. Okay, so I got Ron Yeri. I'm looking. Do I have any? I have some Pro Bowlers, right? Well, this is back when Pro Bowl kind of mattered because there wasn't the internet to vote on them. I'm gonna take this guy, Bubba Smith, Michigan State boy. Super Bowl champion, two-time Pro Bowler. I like the fact he's out of Michigan State. Why not?
Yep, that's when they had a string of winning national championships in the 60s.
All right, I'll take him.
So I'm going to take Dave Parks, receiver from Texas Tech.
I don't have any receivers. I just have running backs, a quarterback, and then defense.
I had to build my team a little bit out.
All right, 50s.
50s, if it's not obvious, you take this person, you can take a running back anyway. So it's Paul Hornung. Who cannot take Paul Hornung?
I know.
Greatest
It's a good pick.
running back for probably Notre Dame collegiately and for the Packers professionally. So
Packers never really had a lot of great running backs. I mean, Aaron Jones is a heck of a guy, but I'm saying...
And Eddie Lacy did not turn out
Eddie
well.
Lacy really crashed and burned.
Yes.
I got an edge here from Notre Dame. Heisman winner as a defender. Good for him. There's not a lot of talent here in these 50s. A lot of these guys did not pan out. I guess I'm going to have to go with Leon Hart, Notre Dame edge. Heisman Trophy, one-time Pro Bowler. Not a lot of crazy good stats, but I mean, that was really the best option.
Yep.
All right, 40s.
Oh, we're going for the 40s now?
Why not?
It's you. It's up to you now.
This guy, halfback. I can't take him.
You can't take a halfback.
I guess I'm going to have to take... I can't take a pick. All the 40s guys... No, this guy's a wide receiver and a halfback. Harry Gilmer.
You're going to take Gilmer? I'm fine. I'll take Chuck
The Washington football team legend.
I'm going to take Chuck Bednarik, who played center and linebacker. Two interesting positions. Two-way position at Penn and played for the Eagles. Look at that. He was
Jay Berwinger?
8-time Pro Bowler.
Who are you talking about? Jay Berwinger?
No, I'm talking about Chuck.
Oh, okay, Benrick. Well, now we'll go back to the 1930s. There's only
4 years.
4 years to pick from. Who do you want?
Oh, I think the best one here is Ski Aldrich.
Okay.
And he's a pure center, not just not playing two ways in linebacker.
Yeah. They have fullbacks. I'm going to bump up my team with Sam Francis from Nebraska.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a fullback.
Oh.
I'm winning the Super Bowl with my fullback.
Somebody's got to lead the blocking for your two.
Yeah, there it is.
So there it is.
All right, so my team was Sam Francis, the fullback from the 1930s. From the 1940s, I took, who did I take in the 40s again? Harry Gilmer.
Yeah.
The wide receiver and halfback. I'm running wide receiver. From the 50s, I took
Leon Hart.
Thank you. You're good to remember that. Leon Hart from Notre Dame, the edge. 1960s, I remember I took Bubba Smith from Michigan State, the defensive end. For the 70s, I ended up going, I couldn't take.
Nope, go down.
I was thinking Earl Campbell from the Houston Oilers, right? Didn't that take him?
Yep.
And then I'm going to pair him up with my 80s pick, which was Bo Jackson. Studs. Peyton Manning, one of the best ever. Quarterback. 2000s, I went pretty basic here. Jake Long tackle. I was just trying to get a pick out there. And then one I'm really proud of was the Myles Garrett pick. So as long as I keep him away from Mason Rudolph, I'll be fine.
Yep. And my picks, if we start out in the 2010s, we'll go backwards for mine. Eric Fisher, tackle from Central Michigan. In the 2000s, I had Mario Williams, defensive end from North Carolina State. In the 1990s, I had Orlando Pace, tackle of Ohio State. In the 1980s, John Elway, quarterback of Stanford. In the 1970s, I had Leroy Selman, defensive end of Oklahoma. In the 1960s, I took, since you stole Bubba Smith from me, I took Dave Parks, wide receiver of Texas Tech. In the 1950s, Paul Hornung, running back of Notre Dame. In the 1940s, I took Chuck Bednarik, center and linebacker from Penn. And in the 1930s, I took Kai Aldrich, center of from TCU. And there you go.
All right. Well, what decade do you want your team to play in?
Oh, we're definitely playing in the 70s. I don't know why people wouldn't. But there you go.
I think with the fact that I have Peyton Manning and Myles Garrett, I really should go 2010s. I think my team would benefit from an offensive heavy era and a pass rush heavy era. Yeah. I know, I'm serious, like it would. My team is definitely built more for that style. Because I have dual running backs, I need the modern medicine to keep Bo Jackson healthy.
Medicine.
Earl Campbell will be my Iron Man. He's going to be like, run it. Okay, so Bo Jackson is my flashy. Earl Campbell's just running straight through the tackles. I've got a fullback, which is very against 2010s football, but I'm going to fight through that. Peyton Manning's going to benefit from modern passing, and then Myles Garrett already benefits. So, Myles Garrett's really the one guy I think would benefit if I went back in time. If he was in the 80s, he could just tear people up. So, yeah.
There it is.
Do you enjoy that one? You like that?
Yes, I did like that one. I thought it was very good. And
I don't know what I should end with. What should be my last special section?
Well, it's supposed to be rating Batman movies, which I am halfway through Batman Begins, so I'll be at least 5 1/4 done.
Well, you did a much better job of that than I did.
And you gave the homework. I was actually listening to a previous podcast of ours from a couple weeks ago where you said, I gave the homework, I didn't even read the assignment yet. About the Batman movies. So there you go.
You talking about me?
Yeah, that was a little funny line you gave.
Oh, I'm always coming up with the great one-liners, I guess.
Oh, okay. Well, happy time, people. A double happy birthday first to Troy Polamalu, who turned 41 years old last Tuesday. Troy was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first round of the 2003 NFL Draft, played 12 seasons there in the Steel City, earned the 2010 NFL Defensive Player of the Year award. He was a 4-time first-team All-Pro, 2nd-time first-team All-Pro, and 8-time Pro Bowler. And he was elected to the NFL Hall of Fame in Canton in 2020. And, briefly, 2 career highlights from Troy Polamalu. First, his amazing interception in the wild card from against the San Diego Chargers at home, and then against the Ravens in the AFC Championship, because you can't beat that one. That pick 6 to seal the deal.
Open. Jackson drops it, and Polamalu makes the interception. That is an amazing.
We've seen him this year and over the years just make some incredible interceptions.
Team Flacco.
in the shotgun, drops the throw, throws over the middle, intercepted by Polamalu at the 40, near side, 35 to the 30. He's at the 25, running to his right side. He's picking up some free space on the far side at the 20, 15, 10, 5. He's in, touchdown! Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl! A 40-yard return by Troy Polamalu.
Troy Polamalu came across the field because he saw Joe Flacco under pressure and looking to his right to Polamalu's left.
We also felt like this is our division. There's no better way to drive that point home than beat them in the AFC Championship game and beat them 3 times in a football season.
Anything to say about Troy?
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the best corners to ever play.
Safeties,
So,
yes.
well, safety. Yeah, I've been flipping those all day, haven't I?
I know you have.
I don't know what
You
I'm
don't think
doing.
every corner is safety, never safety a corner.
Yeah, I mean, overall, some of them could switch positions.
Yes.
But, like, J.C. Horn can play both. But, yeah, so definitely one of the best. On the cover of Madden 09.
Yes, this is true. After
It
winning
was
the
him
Super
and Larry
Bowl.
Fitzgerald,
In the
wasn't it?
Super Bowl, yes, it was. They both in the Super Bowl that year. That's why. And a happy 68th birthday this Friday to Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
He's got to bring over Jerry up here. We got Ryan's little Funko Pop of Jerry.
You holding the microphone?
What's the deal with airline?
I got to finish up my Lego of him.
peanuts?
What's the
Yes,
deal with airline?
peanuts. So anyway,
They're too plain. That's the joke.
I know, I guess. Well, here's Jerry Seinfeld and a couple openings that he had during the show on birthdays.
A little tired of pretending I'm excited every time it's somebody's birthday. You know what I mean? What is the big deal? How many times do we have to celebrate that someone was born? Every year, over and over. All you did was not die for 12 months. That's all you've done, as far as I could tell. I know those astrology things where they tell you all the people that have the same birthday as you. It's always an odd group of people, too, isn't it? It's like Ed Asner, Elijah Muhammad, and Secretariat. To me, the thing about birthday parties is that the first birthday party you have and the last birthday party you have are actually quite similar. You know, you just kind of sit there. You're the least excited person at the party. You don't even really realize that there is a party. You don't know what's going on. Both birthday parties, people kind of have to help you blow out the candles. You can't do it. You don't even know why you're doing it. What is this ritual? What is going on? It's also the only 2 birthday parties where other people have to gather your friends together for you. Sometimes they're not even your friends. They make the judgment. They bring them in, they sit them down, and they tell you, these are your friends. Tell them thank you for coming to my birthday party.
Now, you guys want to know something terrible. I just cut you off, and I apologize,
No,
but
you're
it's
good.
because this will always upset me. Quinn is a huge Seinfeld fan, but he doesn't watch the opening or ending stand-up bits. A classic staple of Seinfeld is the opening and ending stand-up, and you don't watch them.
Some of them I just don't care for. I don't like them. So
I just can't believe
it's not as
it.
funny as the show.
It'd be
Now,
like if I was like,
Now, I haven't watched it now when I watched on Netflix because there are no commercials compared to when I recorded off of TBS. So
Okay.
that's kind of why. I just started and I skipped it all so I go right into the show.
it bothers me if I don't watch stand-up, because it always ties in, and I like that.
I know it does. Sometimes it just doesn't suit me. So that's how it's going to be.
That's one of my favorite parts of the show.
Well, happy anniversary, Julio Franco. 16 years ago, last Wednesday, Julio Franco became the oldest major leaguer to hit a home run at age 47. And he hit another one next year at age 48. Both of these were hit for the New York Mets. And he is the first player to hit one with his grandson in attendance while he's playing.
What?
That is craziness. What a fun fact here about Franco is that he is the last major leaguer to bat against a pitcher that Ted Williams also faced. And that pitcher was Jim Cott, who was a rookie when pitching to Ted Williams at the end of the 1959 season and faced the rookie Julio Franco in the 1982 season. So think about that one, Ryan. Get your history books out.
Oh my gosh. What? That is insanity.
Yes, and Jim Cott actually still is an announcer for MLB TV right now. He works with Bob Costas usually on games. So he's 83 years old and a lefty pitcher. He played for a lot of teams actually, but he ended his career with the Cardinals. There, 25 years he played as a pitcher in the MLB. All right, and a double happy trails today. First is celebratory trails to Jay Wright, who retired from coaching collegiate men's basketball at Villanova last week. He compiled a career record of 642 and 282. His record at Villanova was solely 520 to 197. He had most of his success in the last decade of his coaching career, where his record was a crazy 283 to 67. That's an 80.8 to be exact, winning percentage there. Earned an NCAA tournament berth every season, and led Villanova to 3 Final Four appearances with 2 national titles as the end result.
I mean, he turned that school into an absolute powerhouse.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully it can continue.
I think it will.
But he said
it's shocking.
He said he didn't have the edge to compete anymore.
That's what Brady said.
Edge. Yep.
Then he came back.
So, never know. And then a melancholy trails to Sarah Scholes. Scholes was an athlete at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. The cross-country runner committed suicide last week after battling mental health issues during her collegiate academic and athletic career. Her parents came out and said that it was hard for her to balance everyday life between classes, her athletics, and also everyday life as well. This is not only the first collegiate athlete to also commit suicide over mental health issues, but it has been a recurring theme this past year with several medically retiring because of them, and to also, or some that have also decided to end their own life because of it. Our thoughts and prayers are with her family at this time. And Ryan, we're getting ready for the big finish. If you are ready to handle that.
Yeah, sorry, I'm fast forwarding the tape of Grease to near the end for you because I know you like the final dance number.
Like the final 2 dances because it's the double back. Because they double.
I'm gonna put it with 20 minutes to remain, and hopefully by the time we end, it's right about on time.
Okay.
I'll have to pause the tape if it's off. Hit and play.
Let's see where it is.
Where is it?
And
oh, he just punched the dude.
Because this is it's gonna roll right into the fair.
Yep.
So there
I'm on the money.
All right. So here we go in the final 90 seconds for the big finish. Here we go. Ryan, your Vegas Golden Knights are in 3rd place for the 2 wildcard spots for in the NHL playoffs. Will they make it this week?
I think they will. I trust this team. I think we can do it. So, how impressive is it though that Alexander Ovechkin, right?
Ovechkin, what are you doing?
I can never do it. I'm sorry. I can't. I can never get his name right.
Okay.
I'm so bad with the names. He's achieved his 9th 50-goal season this year. How impressive.
Oh, it's crazy impressive because only other 2 players that have had 9 seasons like that are Wayne Gretzky and Mike Bossy. Could he go for a 10th next year? Maybe. Ryan, you're big on the Chicago White Sox winning the World Series. Can this team do something that even a Nelly Fox-led team could not?
Yes. Your Cincinnati Reds broke their 10-game skid yesterday with a win over the St. Louis Cardinals. Are you happy about that?
Definitely happy. Jonathan India has been on the injury list for on the 10-day DL.
They're so bad.
And Tyler Stevenson has been out with a concussion last week as well. So 2 starters out. That doesn't help you with winning. Better chance of closing out their series in Game 5. The Miami Heat or the Golden State Warriors?
I would say Heat here. Trae Young has not looked very good lately, so... Other than that big floater he had, I mean, last game he wasn't looking the best.
Yes, I agree.
So, Deebo Samuel requested a trade from the San Francisco Niners. How significant is that?
I think it's pretty significant. Isn't he basically all of their offense because he's playing receiver and running back?
Well, here's the thing is I thought he was epic cool Deebo, and then now it's like, oh, I don't want to play multiple positions. And I was like, that was what made you cool.
I did, that was your stick.
I mean, I guess not everybody can be as good as my guy for the Atlanta Falcons. You know his name.
Cordero Patterson.
Yes, sir. Cordero.
All right. Any shout-outs or thank yous?
Yeah, I actually have a big thank you out to Tom Hamilton. He's been the Cleveland Guardians back when he was doing it since 1990. Their radio announcer here and living in Ohio. I've listened to a lot of his games.
92.7.
Yep, and I think, now granted, I listened to baseball a couple times. I've listened to like a couple times another team is what I'm saying. I've listened to the Reds a couple times, and baseball really is the last thing I really tune in the radio too, because I enjoy baseball radio. I think baseball is really fun to listen to on radio because it's very slow. You can be very descriptive, and they can have a lot of more conversations. And like basketball on the radio is, you kind of got to be on it. Same thing with football. And football on the radio is very hard to visualize.
I don't know how the the Guardians. That's the first time I messed that up. That the Guardians run their broadcast like the Reds, but the Reds always in the second inning when the opposing team is batting, they bring in one of their beat writers. They rotate between about 5.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, Hamilton, he's like I said, he's been doing it since 1990. He is, I just think, the best. And granted, like I said, I haven't listened to a lot of others, but based off what I've read, he is considered to be one of the best. And I just really appreciate it. I mean, he's pushing, I think, 70 years. No, he's 60. I think he's 67 years old. Yeah, 67 years old. I think I checked the other day. And he's just immaculate. I mean, they were down 10-0. I think they ended up losing 10-2 to the Yankees yesterday. And I was listening to it while mowing yards. And, he was just absolutely, entertaining me. When he broadcasts, it feels like he's having a conversation with you. And even though you're not talking back, it's very impressive. It's very engaging. He does a really good job. He always mentions the weather, and he describes it very well, and he's very descriptive. And what's impressive to me is he doesn't even have a proper color man. The other guy in the booth with him, who hardly ever speaks, I can't remember his name all of a sudden, but he's not a former player. So Tom Hamilton is essentially being both color and play-by-play because he knows the game so well he can describe it. He never played pro ball. And so he brings a lot of energy. He's very animated. He's very descriptive. He's really everything you want in a radio announcer. And when I listen to the Reds games, it's not the same. I think Tom Hamilton's just one of the best. And he was just talking about going off to New York and how he's been enjoying the city and all this stuff. And I was completely entertained by this guy just telling me about his trip in New York. And I think it's really impressive. So if you live in Ohio and you catch the Cleveland Guardians game, I'm not even a Guardians fan. And I was just listening to it because I enjoy Tom Hamilton.
Rosenhaus, by the way.
That's the guy with him?
Yep.
And he doesn't talk a ton, and I'm saying he's not a former player, so they're essentially both play-by-play, because Color Man is almost always a former player. So, Tom Hamilton, one of the best. He really reminds me, honestly, of Bob Uecker in Major League. That's the vibe I get. Now, granted, maybe because it's the same organization, but I think he really has that vibe. And then I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he said, well, part of that's because they're both from that Wisconsin region. Uecker was, the Brewers announcer for the longest time, and Hamilton's actually from that area. So no wonder I think they sound similar, because they're both have that same dialect, and then on top of that, they're both very animated and very good. So it's made me think of in Major League when he's like, ball 4, ball 38, ball 52. You know what I'm talking about? That scene when he just keeps throwing the balls. He's like, and a swing and a miss here in Cleveland, and that's what it reminds me of. So. Yeah, thank you to Tom Hamilton. He's the best.
Well, I'm actually I didn't really have a shout out, but
I need to job shadow him somehow.
I will shout out my own Cincinnati Reds radio network commentators. Tommy Thrall is our play-by-play, another Tom. And he took over for the legendary Marty Brenneman, who was there for almost 50 years. Mm-hmm. And then our color commentators actually rotate per series. Every series is a new one. It goes between Jeff Brantley, and it rotates also with the TV. Always there's one person on TV, one person on radio, one person's off. And it is between Chris Welsh, who is the longest tenured one, Barry Larkin, the Hall of Famer, and Jeff Brantley, a.k.a. the Cowboy, as his nickname.
Really?
And Chris Welsh is the crafty left-hander. So, but anyway, I do the same thing as you mentioned, mowing yards. That's what I do when it's time for Reds games. I always listen to them while I'm mowing yards. So that's how it goes here. But
I got it marked in my car. They're all electronic now. You just press it and you have the little electronic. Yep. I think there's really something I really like. I have an old radio where you can tune it. You know what I mean? You have to hit the tune. There's something cool about hitting the tuner when you get it just right. You know what I'm talking about? Those old radios, and you have to tune it a little.
Yes.
With the little lines. I like those. I don't know. The audio quality's never as good, but I always think it's cool to have to tune it. I got a buddy. He fixes up old cars. Oh, yeah, Boston's winning. I think they're about to sweep them. That'd be pretty sweet. But I just always think about it. It's I think it's cool when you have to tune it like that. I don't know.
Yep. All right, we are literally running out of show because we're out of here. We'll see you next week for the season finale here on The Big Salad. This is Quinn Maseko speaking for The Big Salad Podcast, a Ryan Klinger production. Please note that portions of this podcast were edited before the final cut was produced, and this episode was recorded on April 25th. The sections of Happy Time and The Big Finish are copied from the ESPN show Pardon the Interruption. There was no intention to infringe on the copyrights of those segments and their related music. Stay tuned for our next podcast next week on the Sorta Sports Podcast YouTube channel.